Hello and welcome to all the Hillians out there. I'm Joe, and today I've got a new Zelda video for you all. This time I'm going to be discussing the likes of Tia, one of the more interesting characters to come out of Hyrule Warriors. Now, when Hyrule Warriors first came out, it was not entirely popular. Um, it did get quite the audience, but there were many critics of it due to Linkle appearing and other ideas in the story. And there were legitimate complaints, as this was a very big deviation from the norm for Zelda. On the other hand, it had a good story, it had added a lot of interesting characters, and it also has accrued quite a large fan base. There were many Zelda fans who did like it. And I myself had long since come to desire something different in the series, as at that time I was fixated only on Ocarina, Majora, and Link to the Past, but in an abstract kind of way, so I didn't properly appreciate them. But on the other hand, I wanted the series to try something different. Now, I hoped for a Fire Emblem style game, but this was interesting to me. So I tried it and I liked it. Now, Tia is the principal antagonist of a good chunk of the game, and she's a different kind of antagonist from, say, Ganon. Tia is a much more sympathetic character than Ganon. And Tia is a rather mysterious figure, but she does add to the lore because the thing is, there is a hero of time, so to speak, that is to say, the spirit of the hero who keeps reincarnating across the ages and across different timelines. We have the goddess Hylia, who one could see as a bit of the spirit of the goddess that reincarnates across time and different timelines. Same with the spirit of the demon, that is to say, Ganon's spirit. But in Sia, we see a whole other type of character, a guardian of time. It is her duty to guard the timeline, and she's really a half goddess of sorts, blessed with, it seems, immortality. And her problem is that she observes the timeline and is forced to never interact with it. At first, this is easy for her, but over time, she begins to admire Link, and then her admiration turns to love. And of course, this love is twisted by the corruptive influence of Ganon, as part of his essence, the essence of demise, that is, begins to seep out of whatever she's scrying with, and begins to kind of affect her, if in a abstract sort of way. And Tia herself begins to rebel against her mission. She wants to interact with the world. She is, after all, a woman. And the thing is, women do not handle loneliness in some ways as well as men. And this is not a judgment. Women are in a lot of ways much more social than men. And we are all social animals. So I don't think even men could handle this kind of isolation all that well. But the thing is, Tia handled it very well for a long time. But then feminine desires get awoken, and she looks into the life of the hero time and again and finds herself longing for more and longing for the hero, for herself, and becomes jealous of Zelda and the other love interests whom have managed to claim Link across different multiple lives. As we have it on good authority, I think, that you had Zelda may have gotten with him in one or two lives, but in others it was other women. So the trouble is, you have here a recipe for disaster. Naturally, Link kind of doesn't know she exists. And Tia decides to rally together an evil army of sorts of darker warriors. Once she gets in her head, she's going to interfere in the timeline. And she ends up doing a good job as a villainess. But one thing she does is swipe away the Triforce of power from Ganon, as she needs power to fuel her campaign. Now, what's so interesting about this is that this is the first divorce we see of Ganon from the Triforce of Power. And this is an interesting idea, as it could spell the very end of Ganon, because without the Triforce of Power, he loses a lot of the power he has and could very well more easily be slain. In turn, Tia has been split in two between a good half and the original Guardian of Time. That is to say, Tia. So you have the good in her, which is separated, Lana. And Lana seeks to redeem Tia and so that they can refuse into one. Now, Tia is slain in the campaign and later revived in a heroic light, so that she is redeemed thanks to Link. And Link ends up encouraging Tia to resume some of her duties, but Tia also holds on to the Triforce of Power. So she is the Guardian of Time, but now she can interfere, and she does have the loaded shotgun, so to speak, to tip the balance to an extent. But she now shares duties with Lana. So this is setting up for a very different status quo. Just what might happen after, we don't know. The story was never continued, which is a darn shame, as Tia is a great character, and I think she is probably the character with the most potential in some ways. And I think that a game which would have included her in a similar role as, say, Midna, or some other capacity like that, could have been very interesting. And it might have been interesting to have a different villain than Ganon for such a game, as Ganon would be slain and not a non-factor. Maybe going with a villain like Vati or something could be interesting. But that's all I have for you today. Do tell me in the comment section what you think of Tia. I may do another video on her, as there's a lot I want to explore with her. And hopefully next time we'll be able to get a Hyrule in focus out for you all again. And then follow it up maybe with an Ocarina. And also check out my Substack if you want more of my content. So, have a great day, and as I said, smash that like and subscribe as though you were Link taking down Ganon for the final time.